Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. Hi, welcome to the 4th week of preparation, Offering Week.
The same thing is true with the tithe. The point of the tithe isn't to say that we're just giving 10% of our income to the Lord. It's not like we say, all right, we'll keep the 90, you keep the 10. The idea is that we are giving the first fruits of our income, the first 10%, because what that means is it trains us to understand that the rest of the 90% that we have should be offered to His service as well. So it's a first fruits principle. The reason why we memorize certain scriptures isn't so that at the end of the year 52 scriptures or 52 minus 12 is 40 scriptures or whatever it is that we learn. It's that as you learn certain scriptures, it makes it so that it opens up the rest of the Bible to you as well. The reason why we learn certain songs is that it makes it so that all of the singing that we do, all of the music listening that we do becomes consecrated to the Lord as well. Now, you can decide for yourself whether or not it's appropriate for you to listen to secular music or not. I just know that it's interesting in talking to Trevor that he began a process of saying, wow, I really should try to focus on listening to more music that glorifies God. And then in that process of listening to that music, it caused him to think differently about the rest of the music that he was listening to. That's the nature of the tithe. That's the nature of any first fruits activity that God gives us to do. The idea is supposed to be not that one day in 7 we are setting aside for God, but that by doing it on that one day, it changes how we look at everything else. And so what we want to do is that we want to not just do it, but we want to reflect on it. We want to ask the question, by doing that, how did we grow and change? And it should be in specific ways that we can point to. Now, some of the things that we thought we were going to accomplish may be different than what we actually accomplish. But as Pastor Tim pointed out in the messages that you'll see this month in the .w booklet, usually if you don't have a plan, the end result is that nothing changes in your life. And so if you have a plan, you may accomplish something different than you thought you were going to accomplish by the plan that you set up. But you're going to accomplish something. And so as we think about this Offering Sunday, I want to talk again about the principles that I want you to be doing as you think about your own offerings throughout the year. Keep in mind, again, that the core principle of the offering is not that 90% of it is for you, 10% of it is for God, but that by taking the first 10% and saying, how am I going to use this to further God's purpose, to do the works of mercy that we're being trained to do in church? That's going to change the way that you think about the other 90%.
And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house. And it fell, and great was the fall of it. For more information on .w Church, visit dotheword.org.
Hear the word, do the word. .w